studio too to make sure that we are running and that everything's in working order. And I've missed Matty T so much. He has been gone for it's been a week, right, Matty? Was that how long?
Yes, I took an extended road trip, so it's been a full week now.
And one that was very well deserved too. I guess before we go any further here, I mean, we sort of previewed that there might have been something that happened on the trip. We couldn't break the news, though.
Oh, you didn't mention it?
No, because it's not our news to break.
I appreciate that. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and mention it here. Yeah, I got engaged last week. I proposed under the St. Louis Arch.
Aww.
And I know Phil is a Cardinals fan. You love that.
Yeah. Did you do? Why didn't you do it up in the arch with the swaying?
Have you been up there before?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been up there a few
so
times.
It's not necessarily once you get to the top. It's not super romantic up there. You're riding a little pod all the way to the top, and then you only have about 5 minutes to peek out the windows.
And those pods are sketchy too.
Yeah.
Like unless they've upgraded them in the last 10 years, I mean, it is not a very comfortable ride up to the top.
No, it's a little tight space, but it was cool though.
Yeah. It is cool. Great
It can be
view.
difficult to get down on one knee in one of those things.
Yes, and on the curvature too. So
a lot more room underneath the arch, which if you really want to piss off a St. Louis, then just call it the Arc. That'll get them going. That'll get them going. Anyway, well, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
To your future missus.
I messaged both of you guys after it happened to let you know.
Well, I mean, you had a big smile on your face, and very well deserved, and also for your lovely lady. That's outstanding, wonderful news.
She said yes, by the way.
Oh,
congratulations. That's right. I guess we didn't ask for that very important part.
Did you say yes right away? A lot of head nodding. I mean,
yes, a lot of head nodding and crying.
Yes, that was my experience too. I had to ask 3 times until I got a actual verbal yes, like full on verbal consent.
Yeah, she's pretty caught up in the moment. But what was fun though, we had the rest of the week then to kind of, enjoy it and celebrate it.
It was like a post engagement honeymoon.
It was.
That's kind of what it seems like. Well, good for you, man. And so when do you know when the date is? When we've got to mark our calendars here and
we
take
have
off?
been talking about since I turned 40 in February, maybe doing it around there, taking a trip somewhere, and then having not really having a traditional wedding, but then having a like a big reception or something with family and friends.
So dogs and burgers and
potato
salad and things like that.
Correct.
Right? Okay, that sounds like fun. Well, if you're doing it in February, I'm at the Travelers Ballpark right now to do the show today, and one of the guys that still works here, even from when I started in years into the '80s, Reggie Temple. He's known as Reasonable Reggie. If you're ever at a Travelers game, he will detail your car while you watch the game. But first you got to go up to him and ask him to say, "Give me your keys," because that's exactly what he says. He got married on February 14th. Now that's
Valentine's Day.
That's easy to remember, though.
That's right. That marriage is over, so take that for what you will. Anyway, that's just one example for you.
Have you picked out the person you'd like to perform the ceremony?
I have. You know what?
Oh, we do have a marrying reverend here.
It's funny. Somebody did reach out yesterday. Somebody that used to listen at the station in Little Rock, and said, "If you don't have anybody, I can." And I was like, "I actually do know a guy."
I mean, I am available.
I got a guy. That's hilarious. You're treating it like the same way you would the mechanic.
I
got a guy that does.
You have a reverend guy? Yeah, I got a guy.
Come on. Yeah, and he's free. He won't cost a darn thing. And
I know he's official.
Yeah, I've shown him the certificate and everything.
I've seen it myself.
He also won't throw any of that religious stuff into the ceremony either, knowing where he got his certificate from.
Hey, the Universal Life Church is a very legitimate organization. Okay,
yeah,
it's all encompassing.
Yeah,
to the members of the Universal Life Church, it's quite a reputable organization. So that leaves the two of you are now engaged.
Yes.
Where does that leave me?
Been there, done that.
Been there, done that.
That's right.
Got the T-shirt and hat to prove it. Stuck on the single island. I don't know whichever way you want to look at it.
I still have a shirt. It's funny you even put it that. I still have a shirt from the rehearsal dinner. It's not from the wedding itself. I didn't keep the tux.
Are you supposed to give out shirts at the rehearsal dinner? Is this something I have to pay for now?
No, it was we got family-wide bowling shirts. Because we did when I got married, it was in St. Louis, and we did it at the National Bowling Hall of Fame and Museum, which also doubled as the Cardinals Hall of Fame. Bowling and the Cardinals go together. So
tomato,
since we
tomato.
did it at the National Bowling Museum and Hall of Fame, we had bowling shirts.
Oh, okay.
I still have that one. It's got a stain on it from a hot dog, and I've never worn it since, but I still have, for some reason, have it up in the closet. Anyway, congratulations to you, Maddie. That is wonderful news. When I saw the photos that you sent us and I saw your Facebook post, just big smile lit up on my face because you and your lovely lady deserve all the love in the world. The same with you, Drew, and your future missus. So I'm happy for all four of you, and I'm excited for what the future brings for you guys.
Thank you, Phil.
Well, we appreciate it. Now, that was lovely sentiment, but I'm going to need you to say that at the wedding.
Can you repeat that?
That sentiment does not get you out of attendance.
No, I just did my speech. Nobody. That
Fine.
was the whole speech that I'll give on the wedding
Maddie, I'll
day.
cut the tape. I'll just hold up my
play
phone.
it, yeah.
I'll play it. Hey, everybody, Phil had something to say 12 months ago. Here you go.
Oh, I'll be there. I'll be there. And I'll be there with bells on, okay?
All
How's
right.
that for you?
Sounds great.
Okay, so that's exciting. That's exciting. And we got an exciting show planned for you here over the next almost 2 hours. Bob Holt is out today. How dare he go do something instead of join us on the radio today? He's traveling around, I'd call it a day off for Bob. But traveling's not always like a day off because that is work to get from one place to another. So Scottie Bordelon is the pinch hitter today, also, of course, from Whole Hog Sports and the Democrat Gazette, Hogs Illustrated. And then in hour two, it's like you have to realize what's starting today. A very large sporting event right in the epicenter of the SEC, which has absolutely nothing to do with college sports or the SEC or conference realignment or NIL or anything like that. And Pat, being from Jocks Radio in Birmingham, I would imagine is right in the middle of it. I didn't even realize that the World Games is a thing that happens the year after the Olympics every time. I guess this has been going on since 1980. And the last one would have been in, I think, 2017. And you couldn't do it last year because the Olympics were postponed 1 year, so it's now. And when I was in Birmingham for the SEC baseball tournament, you saw signs about these World Games going on all over town, along with the USFL. It's really amazing how Birmingham is like the ersatz sports center of the United States in a way. It's like the secondary stuff outside of the SEC, which is the big leagues in college sports. Like the USFL is the minor leagues of college football, and the World Games is like the weird minor league uncle of the Olympics when you look at some of the sports.
Well, you know what they say, Phil. It goes New York, L.A., Birmingham.
That's exactly.
I mean,
no, I think Birmingham's got to be at least after Chicago, right?
Okay. We'll put Chicago, I guess, ahead. So it goes New York, L.A., Chicago, Birmingham, because it feels like everything is going on there, and I guess they have the facilities, they got the hotels and everything else along those measurables to host these types of events. And I'm curious when we talk to Pat how interesting it is for locals. You know, obviously, when you have the Olympics in town, I think that's a pretty big thing for locals and out-of-towners to drive into. But with the World Games, like, is it something that's really on a lot of people's radar? Because these are off-the-wall type of things. These are some ESPN, The Ocho, ABC's Wild World of Sports.
This is like it's almost
stuff.
like basketball. Basketball should be in the World Games.
Oh, I
would look at some of the other events that they've got going on. Like it's only from parts of Arkansas, like from Little Rock, it's 6.5 hours to Birmingham. From Fayetteville, maybe more like 8.5. From Fort Smith, about the same. Are you willing to make that drive to go watch canoe polo? Because this is a thing that's on display at the World Games. Are you ready to drive all the way there to watch floorball, which I think is just floor hockey?
It's hockey without skates or roller skates, right? It's like field hockey, but indoors, right? Or without the weird poles, right? Isn't that it? There's a ton of really weird looking sports. They have tug of war, which I think actually was a real Olympic sport when they first came around when the second came around in like 1900 or 1902 or whatever the first year in St. Louis was. So, and then the NFL actually has an idea that they think they could get a form of football into the real Olympics, and the World Games is kind of
I think it's more of a
testing ground.
Yeah, it's like a testing ground, like an intermediate display of it to see if it works.
It's the Pioneer League of football, I guess, or of the Olympics. The Pioneer League in baseball is where they try every little thing out. The pitch clock first got started, the automatic strike zone, the larger bases, every rule that Rob Manfred has came up with out of his weird baseballic mind over the last few years. It started out in the Pioneer League. So I guess the World Games are the Pioneer League of the Olympics?
Yeah, something like that. Well, that's something we'll talk with Pat about, and there's some weird sports that we'll get into as we get into the second hour with these World Games in Birmingham. Plus, what else we got going on here? Aaron Judge is no longer always the tallest guy on the field. We saw that yesterday when his Yankees beat up on the Pirates 16-0. We got other things around Major League Baseball. Doesn't look like much is happening in college baseball, although today Dave Van Horn is addressing the media and talking about a recap of the 2022 baseball season, and obviously there'll be some questions about the comings and the goings and maybe some of the possible incoming freshmen, depending on the draft, because we're like, I think, a week and a half away. I don't remember the exact date, but the draft is on the way very soon. So it'll be pretty interesting once we see some of the quotes from DVH, some of his thoughts about last season and an incredible run of the College World Series, and 2023, in which case it's like, all right, make sure you got your headshots when you show up at the ballpark, because you're not going to know what many of these guys look like. 877-377-6963, and the Chicago Transit Authority taking us into the break. Stay with us.
See, what every long shot come from behind underdog will tell you is this. The other guy may in fact be the favorite. The odds may be stacked against you, fair enough. But what the odds don't know is this isn't a math test. This is a completely different kind of test. One where passion has a funny way of trumping logic.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
The good old summertime is here, and Jelco Outdoors has all your fishing gear for summer trips at the lake or river. Check out the fishing kayaks by Old Town and New Canoe. Summer savings up to $300 off select model. Get ready for fall archery season now with a new bow by Hoyt, Matthews, Elite, and Bowtech. Jelco has the largest selection of box blinds for fall hunting. Come see us at Jelco Outdoors during the good old summertime. Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV. Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction and want to be home every night, want to work with a company that offers great pay, benefits, and a great team environment with growth opportunities, apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
NWA Gold and Silver has moved to a new location in Fort Smith at 4600 Rogers Avenue across from Med Express. NWA Gold and Silver is always buying gold and silver, scrap, bullion, and coins. Plus, NWA Gold and Silver buys and sells jewelry of all kinds. Diamond rings, wedding bands, engagement rings, earrings, and more. Bring in your gold or silver today to the people that pay the most and have the best deals. NWA Gold and Silver in their new location at 4600 Rogers Avenue across from Med Express in Fort Smith.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. Each day we see familiar faces who have supported us from the beginning because they see the benefits of an active lifestyle. We're also always meeting new customers who are taking their first steps towards making running or walking a part of daily life. We have the opportunity to share in their successes and help them achieve their goals. The people of Fort Smith and the River Valley are why we believe we were voted one of the best running stores in America. Visit us and see how we can help you. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Arkansas Glass and Mirror Company has two locations, 1316 South Zero and 200 South Zero Street in Fort Smith, serving the glass and glazing needs of Fort Smith, Northwest Arkansas, and Eastern Oklahoma, commercial and residential. Tub and shower enclosures, mirrors, glass table, and countertops cut to custom size are just a few services offered by Arkansas Glass and Mirror Company. Arkansas Glass and Mirror stocks laminate glass, plexiglass, Lexan, window glass, and mirror and plate glass. For more information, call 646-4300. That's 646-4300.
TGI Fridays in Fort Smith is giving away free gasoline. Come in this Friday, join our rewards program, order an entree, and get your name registered for a $250 gas card. If you're already a rewards member, then just come in and order an entree. Drawing will be Saturday at 1 p.m. and the winner will be announced on Facebook. Stop in this Friday and win free gas with your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 and Rogers in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Hey, Surrey! Be listening for your chance to qualify for the Hardy 17th Annual Football Trip of a Lifetime. A date with the Titans and Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium November 6th.
Amongst a tall-grown sugar cane, there lived a simple man and a Dominic hen and a rose of a different name. Yeah, the first time I felt lightning, I was standing in a drizzling rain with a trembling hand and a bottle of gin and a rose of a different name. Yeah, the devil made me do it.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
Welcome back into halftime here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. 877-377-6963 for the calls and the texts. See this list that came out yesterday from Brad Crawford, writer at 24/7 Sports, about the most intimidating stadiums in the country in college football. And you wonder, like, where does the information from these lists come from?
What metrics are you using?
Well, I mean, what's a matter of how do you know what's intimidating and what's not unless you're there? Like, watching something on television doesn't give you really, like, how crazy of an atmosphere something can be. The most intimidating thing I saw in the 2021 football season involving Arkansas was in Georgia. Was the first 5 minutes of the game at Sanford Stadium.
That one did come through the television, though.
That student section, where Arkansas was in the shadow of the end zone for, a couple of drives in a row, that was an intimidating thing. And the sound and the loudness, the noise was a huge reason why. But also, I mean, this is a totally sold-out stadium with almost everybody still in their seats 4 and 11 o'clock kickoff. And I thought that was the most intimidating atmosphere I've seen in any college football atmosphere that I've been to. Now, admittedly, like, I haven't been to most of the places that are on this list that Brad Crawford put on here, but he's got Memorial Stadium in Clemson listed number 1. That's a Death Valley, of course. And then there's Ohio Stadium at Ohio State 2. Neyland in Tennessee. Like, is this because of dodging mustard bottles and the psychosis of the Tennessee fans, or are we talking circa 1999 now?
See, that's the biggest thing on this list. When it says college football's most intimidating stadiums, who is it intimidating to? Is it intimidating to the opposing team, to opposing fans? I mean, what exactly are you going off of? Are you going off of, one of the easiest ways to measure this out, if you're going off of most intimidating to the opposing team, would to be 1, noise level, 2, delay of game penalties, and 3, how many just timeouts because they can't hear. That's something you can just watch on TV. You can write it out, sketch it all out if you had the time to do that.
Part of it's also
but if this is fandom, the real Death Valley at LSU, that's number 1. I mean, people are scared to tell the LSU fans who they're there to root for. People are scared to wear their team's colors.
It was a heck of a lot different this last year. And I'm only going by the experience I had in this stadium. I'm just going to have to assume, Brad Crawford's been writing college football for years. So I would have to assume that he's been in these 9 stadiums that he listed, which includes Clemson 1, Ohio State 2, Tennessee 3, Georgia number 4. Then it goes LSU, Oregon, A&M, Penn State, Arkansas. And not talking War Memorial, he's talking Reynolds Razorback Stadium. It's really something that you notice that Alabama is not on this list. And I'll say this, like the atmosphere at Alabama this past year, where in Arkansas played them pretty well. Lost, but played them pretty well. It was not even close to what I experienced at Georgia. Not even close. And honestly, it really wasn't even that close to, I think, the atmosphere that you had when Arkansas beat Texas this year or last season in the third week of the season or the second week of the season. Yeah,
Bryant-Denny, I've been there before. Now, obviously, it wasn't an SEC game. I think they were playing Georgia Southern during Cupcake Week in November. It's a very cool venue to watch a game at, but it's definitely underwhelming when it comes to the experience, I believe, and just the fan involvement in the game. Now, I'm sure it's quite packed, quite intimidating for the Iron Bowl. I'm sure if LSU is there, it's quite intimidating. But Alabama has always kind of been that way. They've been a fan base that isn't very consistent. They get really up for the big games, and every other game just nonchalantly, I'll see you during the Iron Bowl. So I'm definitely not shocked that one's not on the list. But
Pete in Cave City says Tennessee is laughable. And I kind of agree with him. I agree with him because, what makes something intimidating? Part of what I think makes something
people yelling at you
intimidating is the success of the team that plays inside of it. And Tennessee just hasn't been that, nor has Arkansas been that until this last year. So it's, and there's more than just the penalty. And I agree with you, the list that you put out there, Drew, about how many timeouts teams have to take offensively, delay of games, that sort of thing, or false start penalties. You saw a lot of those when Arkansas lost to Georgia. But there's also, the home team is able – there's a relationship between the fans and the home team. I think you see this at Arkansas baseball. I think you saw it in football this last year too, where the rise of the crowd just kind of gets – and usually it's the defense that feeds off of this a little bit. You saw that with Georgia last year for certain. I see this in Steelers games all the time. The defense feeds off this crowd's energy, and usually the thing that's most intimidating on a football field is a ferocious defense. And when they feed off that home crowd's energy, which I saw from Georgia last year, that makes it even doubly intimidating because then you lead to takeaways, and then you lead to easy touchdowns, and that's how you got down 21-0 last year in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, after just watching on TV and, from stories that you just talked about, Ty's talked about, people that at that Arkansas-Georgia game last year, Sanford Stadium should be a lot higher up there. Here's another weird thing about this list, Phil. Who stops the list at 9? Am I the only person that saw this graphic and went, you couldn't come up with one more?
Well, there's only maybe the 9 is a baseball number. Yeah, 9 is a baseball number. 9 is not a football number. It should have been 11.
Should have been 11. I'd have understood that because I would have gotten it. 11 players, 11 stadiums. I get it. But most lists are top 5s. Heck, you have some top 3s. You have top 10s. You never see a top 9 for listing stuff. Just come up with one extra, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually it's 5 to 10.
Yeah.
But for football, it should have been 11. We got text coming in here. Preston says Alabama doesn't need to have an intimidating atmosphere to win, and the proof obviously is in the pudding, Preston, because they just keep winning. I would think, though, part of the reason is because they're just too used to massive amounts of success. I think the atmosphere when Saban took over
Why
and
go to the game
really
if you know you're
going
going to win?
would have been a little bit different. That's right. B.E. with his usual humor. Tennessee's intimidating because he feels like he's surrounded by convicts with all the orange. And that's even before the first mustard bottle gets thrown. Matt reminds us that Crawford's a Gamecock fan, so he's seen Clemson at their best and maybe not other places at their best. And that may be one reason why he's got Clemson there. And, hey, I mean, Clemson, I think, and then again, I've never been to a game there, but on television it seems intimidating. You just don't appreciate how intimidating an atmosphere can be until you're inside of it.
Pete in Cave City also says that his best friend played at A-State and said Oregon was way harder to play in than Auburn and Nebraska. Nebraska is one of those schools that I would have expected to be on a top 10, even though their success has been down here of late. But they have sold out that stadium for every game for, 40-plus years now? I mean, even in the darkest days of Nebraska football we saw 5-6 years ago, they were still sellout games. And not just on paper. They were butts in the seats.
At the same time, though, here, while they might have a sellout, how intimidating or good has Nebraska been at all in the last 12, 13, 14 years?
They're loyal, though. You got to give them that.
And Camp Randall is one that Pete sends in, and I think that might be legit too. You know, when you see their jump around and everything, is that intimidating or is that just something fans do? Like at Steelers games, they play Renegade, the song by Styx, and that gets the crowd whipped into a frenzy. They only do it when the defense is going on, in a big third down moment or a big drive where if they stop them, then the game really swings in their favor. That's intimidating, but it's only at a certain moment when that happens. Sometimes the crowd can be kind of quiet. Anyway, this is fun stuff to talk about. If you got any opinions on what you think is the most intimidating atmosphere in college football, or why you think Arkansas belongs on this list, Crawford's got them ranked 9th. 877-377-6963. And we'll talk with Scottie Bordelon from Whole Hog Sports and Hogs Illustrated right after this.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You're not required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-249-8866. 800-249-8866. That's 800-249-8866.
It's the all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet at Golden Corral. Come in and enjoy the endless breakfast buffet with carved ham, tender pork chops, pancakes, French toast, made-to-order eggs and omelets, and, of course, the biscuits and gravy. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and from 8 to 9:30, seniors get all this plus a drink for only $8.99. Golden Corral, 1801 South Waldron, Fort Smith. Order online at goldencorral.com for curbside pickup or delivery. Golden Corral, the only one for everyone.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work, real work, working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
The Summer Sell-Down Sales Event is going on right now at Breen RV in Van Buren. New 2023 models are starting to arrive from Forest River, Keystone, Coachman, and StarCraft, all backed by Breen RV's Free Maintenance for Life program. Cure your summertime blues in a 29-foot StarCraft that sleeps up to 10 people for just $229 a month with zero down. With savings up to $20,000 off MSRP on new travel trailers, now is the best time to get your new RV from Breen RV. That's Breen RV in Van Buren, where adventures begin.
Fishing never stops. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle has everything from jigs to raincoats, Todd Huckabee crappie rods, Bobby Garland crappie jigs, and stay warm and dry with a River West rain suit, the area's largest selection of Zoom plastics, Flash Mob Jr., Kitech swim baits, Mega Bass rods, plus rattle traps, life jackets, and rod and reel repair. Find all the top brands and everything you need at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 1 mile east of I-540 on Highway 64. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Right now, Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center at Randall Ford is having a huge tire sale. Michelin, Goodyear, Bridgestone, all the major brands with the lowest price guarantee. Brakes, wheel alignment, oil change and maintenance, air conditioning, batteries, alternator, and so much more. At Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center at Randall Ford, we service all makes and models and you never need an appointment. Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center at Randall Ford, where we meet or beat any advertised price. 5500 Rogers Avenue or online 24/7 at randallford.com.
Why do people do business with First Western? Because First Western builds relationships with all of their customers. They partner for the long haul to help you with your financial goals over all seasons of life. First Western is prompt, responsive, and they deliver with quick answers and on-time loan closings. When is the last time your banker called you? If you are looking for a high level of service and a financial partner who will listen and respond, try First Western. For more information, visit them online at firstwestern.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Hey, Surrey! Be listening for your chance to qualify for the Hardy 17th Annual Football Trip of a Lifetime. A date with the Titans and Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium November 6th. Find us on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
All right, here at halftime, we are joined by Scottie Bordelon from Whole Hog Sports and Hogs Illustrated. Pinch hitting today for Bob Holt, Scotty. So you ready to take some swings, because pinch hitters are not supposed to stand there and just take pitches. You know how this works.
Yeah, man, I'm not going to stand in the box. Let's do this thing.
All right, very
Love
good.
the confidence.
Well, then the first pitch is coming to you. We were talking in the last segment about this list that Brad Crawford from 24/7 Sports put together about intimidating atmospheres in college football. He's got Reynolds Razorback Stadium ranked 9th on the list. Now, I don't know if he said this is just the experiences that he's had personally. I think you got to be inside the stadium to know what makes it intimidating rather than just on television. So as someone who has covered games inside Razorback Stadium for a while now, what do you think stands out about the atmosphere there that it belongs on this list of most intimidating stadiums in college football?
I think you probably have to start, like, it's probably going to sound like a canned answer, but like probably just like the passion of the fan base. I mean, you walk around the stadium and you see all people, tailgating all day for a night game, and they're not out there drinking water and Coke, and then they get into the stadium and then they're crazy about Arkansas football. I think you got pretty good tailgate scene going on outside, and then there's a lot of anticipation and build up for a game. And I think when the football team is good, you obviously you get a packed stadium, the students get involved. I think the students I think they kind of go a long way in kind of creating the energy in the stadium. And I think when the students are interested and they're loud and they're rowdy, I think that kind of bleeds, through the rest of the stadium from top to bottom. But I mean, night game in Razorback Stadium when the team is really good. Like I remember when I was in college, Auburn came to Arkansas the year after they won the national championship, and that was about as rowdy and loud as I've heard it. And I remember it was a lot. I felt like it was pretty similar to that kind of environment. Last year when Arkansas played Texas. I mean, it's not an easy place to play, especially when the team is good. And that gives fans something to cheer about and get loud and rowdy about.
What about, and really, I mean, when you look at the other atmospheres for the Razorback athletics, and Bud Walton, when men's basketball is sold out, when women's basketball is a good crowd, and baseball, that place speaks for itself, for Bogle Park really too. And I wonder if just the call of the Hogs has anything to do with it. Because it is every school's got their own cheers and things like that. But the hog call is pretty unique. When you drop a well-timed Woo Pig Suey Razorbacks with like 20,000 people at a basketball game, or 12,000 at baseball, or 78,000 at football, and exactly when you're supposed to do it, and it's at the moment where the opponent is probably a little bit ready to be intimidated. That's when they're down or called a timeout or making a pitching change or just gave up a touchdown. Like, I feel like the hog call's got to be a reason why too. I would think you're right for sure. I go back to like in your case, like with baseball, Arkansas hits a home run, for example, pitching coach goes out and talks to the pitcher, try to make sure that things don't unravel. I feel like that hog call is a great compliment to whatever action just happened on the field that, maybe applied some pressure to whoever's playing there. And then maybe that hog call, adds, maybe a little bit, another wave of that pressure, maybe a little bit of intimidation too. I mean, I'm surprised almost like every year. I don't know why exactly, but, people from out of the state that maybe haven't traveled to Arkansas, don't particularly know just a ton about Arkansas. That hog call, it does catch them by surprise, and they kind of wonder what exactly is going on. But you get a bunch of people in Razorback Stadium or in Bud Walton Arena calling the Hogs, like when Arkansas might go on an 8-0, 10-0 run that puts a little bit of a real game pressure on a team. When you hear that going on, you call a timeout, and that's the only thing you can hear in an opposing team's huddle. That's got to be pretty tough. I would imagine it's definitely rattles some players.
Now, Scottie, you're talking about intimidation and loud environments at Razorback Stadium. Let's just look at this year's schedule. I mean, which one do you think is going to have the biggest fan turnout? I mean, largest crowd and kind of the most hypest crowd? Is it just looking at the schedule and just saying, all right, it's obviously going to be Alabama, or could it be, maybe Ole Miss, LSU later in the year?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think there's going to be a lot, several good crowds throughout the year. I'm just looking. It's interesting. You mentioned the schedule. I'm looking at it right now, and outside of like maybe Missouri State, the first 3 weeks of the schedule before Arkansas goes to A&M, it's not like your traditional. You're bringing in Northern Illinois or Western Illinois or some directional school from the north. I mean, it's Cincinnati. Like, that's a pretty good name program. Like, they were just in the playoff. I wouldn't be surprised. The way that the program's been building, in a pretty positive trajectory, really quick. In Pittman's first couple of years, like that first game, I think's got the potential to be pretty good. And then week 2, I think a lot of people aren't completely. I just don't think they like per se maybe the persona of Spencer Rattler, and so maybe that'll add a little bit of fire to the flame too. But then when Bobby Petrino comes with Missouri State, that's going to be pretty electric. too. I think it won't be probably a very good game, but the build up to it will be interesting, especially maybe early in that game. There's going to be maybe some raw emotions coming out from a few of the fans, but just looking at the rest of the schedule, Alabama's going to be pretty good. Liberty, maybe not so much, but I think that 2-week stretch where you got LSU and Ole Miss coming in late November, when the games are really big, and maybe you're fighting for maybe better positioning in terms of bowl games and that kind of thing. If you're in that spot, that point of the year, that's going to be a really, really good stretch. I remember, back when, what was it, 2014 or 20? I think it was 2014 when Arkansas had LSU and Ole Miss come in during that stretch when I think Arkansas snapped its long SEC losing streak and then beat Ole Miss pretty good. Like those are two pretty good teams coming in. Arkansas fans don't really care for either one of those programs at all. So those two games would probably, for me, that'll probably be the best, I would say, probably 2-week stretch of the year.
On the flip side of that, not a very intimidating road schedule for Arkansas this year. I mean, obviously you got the neutral against A&M and Jerry World. You're not really scared about playing in front of a raucous crowd in Provo because, one, they don't drink. How raucous can you really get sober? So, I mean, it just kind of pretty much leaves, I guess, State would be the most intimidating place that Arkansas is going to have to play. Have you ever been to a game in Starkville and heard those cowbells in their full action and loudness?
No, I've never been to Mississippi State, but the cowbells are plenty annoying just watching on TV. But that Mississippi State game, I'm talking about interesting stretches. That's the first game in a 3-game stretch over 4 weeks where you're playing every game on the road. And then you cap that off at Auburn, which, even when Auburn's kind of a middling team in the league, Arkansas and Auburn tend to play pretty competitive games. Like even in Sam's first year, like I don't know that I necessarily expected Arkansas to go in there and be competitive, but they were. Probably should have won that game. But Auburn, even when they're decent to solid, like that can be a pretty tough place to play. At BYU, I get what you're saying probably about the tailgating thing's probably not going to be real electric there. But I just think that road trip's just going to be tough, just a little bit because of the travel and probably some of the elevation, I would say.
Hey, Scottie, I'm going to just, to wrap up here, just change sports on you for a moment. And there's a little interesting bit of, I guess you could say it's news, from the Dave Van Horn press conference that's still happening right now. And he was asked about Wes Johnson taking the LSU pitching coach job from Minnesota Twins. And this is a quote from Dave Van Horn. Quote, "Wes had the chance to go down there last year, too, after my coach turned them down." So, and I didn't realize this. I don't know who did. This seems like news to me that Matt Hobbs turned down LSU last year to stay at Arkansas. I like this.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. I think Matt's done a good job with the pitching staff, and you guys probably know, and Phil, you're probably a little bit ashamed of me, but I don't keep up with baseball that much. But I liked what he did, with the guys in the postseason. Like Zach Morris was a guy that you could really count on out of the bullpen. Evan Taylor too. I loved watching Evan Taylor pitch. Something about a guy that throws kind of 3/4 from the left side and just throwing sliders down and away to lefties. I really like what he did with the pitching staff. It's not really surprising that other SEC programs maybe trying to get a boost with their arms or looking at a guy like Matt Hobbs and the track record that he's built at Arkansas. So it is interesting. I didn't know that either, but it's interesting to see Wes Johnson make the move he did, and I think Matt Hobbs you probably know better than anybody else. I think he's probably pretty happy with where he is.
I think it's pretty obvious. He's turned down major league teams. He's turned down LSU. I think he likes to be at Arkansas. Last thought, and it's about basketball. When I was talking about baseball and fall ball coming up, I think that's going to be incredibly interesting to watch because of all the open jobs at nearly every position outside of maybe second base and maybe DH or first base. Like, there's tons of open jobs for baseball. Can you imagine, and I said this last year going into the basketball season, and I feel like on a year-by-year basis because of what you have to replace and replenish year by year, whether through guys exhausting their eligibility or your one-and-dones like you got from Moses, and you might have 2 one-and-dones this next year. And with the talent that's in here, and every account seems to be that this might be the most talented group Muss has, like the October practices, like, come on. These are going to be legendary.
Better than November games.
Better than the games, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm glad that Eric has decided to, clip some of the highlights from practice and kind of give us some insight as to what's going on. And it seems like, I saw a clip of Trevor in Brazil, putting back the dunk with 2 hands after grabbing it with his left. I think when that shot went up, he started, close to the 3-point line. If he wasn't behind it, finished that. I think it's really interesting that, Eric was talking, so he spoke really highly of Trevin last year a couple of times when he was at Missouri. He's getting to be pretty hands-on with him. I think that he thinks so much of Trevin, and I think that he's going to be a guy that starts and shines on this team. But, yeah, like right now, I think the summer workouts are where you're, trying to make your first impressions on the staff and just, you're working on a lot of skill development and team chemistry and bonding and stuff, like they do some kind of a team outing every Friday when they're all together. But when you start getting into August, September, October, those workouts and practices are going to be pretty intense because every single one of those guys believes that they should be on the floor. Obviously, you can't put them all on the floor. And, given Eric's track record, I looked up not too long ago that I believe in 70 or 71 of his 101 games, he's played fewer than 10 guys in a game. And, he's got, 11, 12, 13 guys that you probably feel like in some capacity could impact winning or influence a game in some way. So there's going to be there might be some guys that are not exactly happy with their playing time, but that playing time's earned, behind closed doors when we don't get to watch everything. Obviously some guys can obviously get in games and take advantage of opportunities, but I do think this is a super talented team. The last time I looked at an ESPN mock draft, Nick Smith I think he was projected to go 3rd to Orlando. Jeez. So you got that too. And then, I think guys like, Jordan Walsh and Anthony Black, I think those guys can work their way into some of those mock drafts too. Maybe a guy like Trevor in Brazil. I really think that he's got really stellar potential. He's so young too. Like Eric spoke so highly of him. He was just a freshman last year. He was still, trying to figure out a place that he could, try to do what he could on a bad team, put some, more talented pieces around him. Maybe he's a guy that can really flourish. But I'm really excited and eager to just learn more and more about this team. And, I know a lot of people are looking forward to football, but, once football gets there, that means basketball's starting to ramp up too. So it's going to be interesting to learn more about this group.
Yeah, we might learn more about them when they go to Europe. Appreciate you, Scotty. Thanks for stepping in on short notice. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Y'all have a good day.
I appreciate it, Scotty.
Scottie Bordelon. He's at Whole Hog Sports, Hogs Illustrated, and always worth your time to read what he's writing. We'll have updates from the Dave Van Horn press conference in the next segment. Halftime brought to you by Booyah Bait Company in Fort Smith. They're making right now the hottest swimming jig on the Arkansas River. It's the Booyah Mobster. Designed by the Muddy Water Mob locally in Arkansas and Oklahoma. Right now winning tournaments on Lake Dardanelle and Kerr Lake like clockwork. So if you're fishing submerged or matted grass, get yourself the Booyah Mobster to reel them in. You'll find it at Lurnet.com and tackle stores all throughout Arkansas and Oklahoma. The Booyah Mobster. At halftime, a call or text, easy to get to us, 877-377-6963. We'll wrap the first hour up next.
It's July and it's hot, and so are the prices at Frank Rowe Furniture. For the month of July, Frank Rowe Furniture has slashed the prices on all made in the USA furniture. You can save hundreds of dollars and in some cases thousands. Made in the USA furniture, family owned, in-store no credit check financing, service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture. Best seats in the house, 405 Port Street, Barling, Arkansas.
Get the best value, service, and TV locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Stop in and ask us about the Hopper 3, Dish's most advanced DVR that delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recordings anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now. Wow World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or online at shopwownow.com. World of Wireless is located at 601 Church Street in Barling next to Frank Rowe Furniture. That's 601 Church Street in Barling. Come see us at our new location.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV? What? No way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen.
Ask Shelter Insurance agents Ted McAvoy in Greenwood or Jeff Clark in Fort Smith about a free insurance review.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit PatriotTransport.com to apply. That's PatriotTransport.com.
It's the all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet at Golden Corral. Come in and enjoy the endless breakfast buffet with carved ham, tender pork chops, pancakes, French toast, made-to-order eggs and omelets, and, of course, the biscuits and gravy. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and from 8 to 9:30, seniors get all this plus a drink for only $8.99. Golden Corral, 1801 South Waldron, Fort Smith. Order online at goldencorral.com for curbside pickup or delivery. Golden Corral, the only one for everyone.
Carco Auto Sales takes great pride in serving Fort Smith, the River Valley, and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years, offering a variety of quality, late model, low mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. The friendly and knowledgeable staff can help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Carco Auto Sales will purchase your vehicle as well. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard or give them a call at 783-1722. Check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales, when you're ready.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
All right, quick segment here is we just want to update some of the stuff that Dave Van Horn has talked about on this press conference. It is not only about Matt Hobbs that had apparently been offered the pitching coach job at LSU last year but turned it down. Dave Van Horn says that another catcher has committed to Arkansas but can't give any names yet. So a little bit of intrigue there. You do have a junior college catcher, Parker Rowland, committed to transferring in out of Eastern Oklahoma State. But, of course, you can't just have one. So I guess that'll be the second, and maybe at some point soon we'll figure it out who it is. Dave also says 3 players that he expects to make jumps next year are Kendall Diggs, Jace Borfin, and Austin Ledbetter. I think Ledbetter is an interesting decision to go with there. We saw him just a little bit at the end of the season and earlier in the year, and he's got a great competitive streak. I can see what Dave is talking about with him. I think from Diggs and Borfin, like those are guys you expect and hope will start next year. Left-handed power bats. Ledbetter, and it's going to be a tougher, position to emerge from with all the returning pitchers. But I'd be interested to see, when given the opportunity, what Ledbetter can do with it.
Yeah, I think all three. None of those three names are really that surprising, just because that's just the transition that we're expected to see. I mean, obviously, as guys lead the program, there's spots that got to be filled, and you hope that you already got that guy in your program that can elevate his game and get better. With Ledbetter and with Diggs, you just saw the writing on the wall all season with his incredible pitch hitting. Obviously, the walk-off home run to right field over Ole Miss in the regular season. So I don't think that anybody was blown away by the fact that Dave Van Horn expects those three guys to step up and be major contributors next season.
Another interesting quote before we send it to the break here. Right out of Dave Van Horn, quote, "I don't think the door is closed, but I do think he'll be picked pretty good," unquote. That's about Robert Moore, the possibility of the Razorback second baseman returning. But he also said Peyton Stovall is going to be the second baseman next year, so we'll see about that. All right, second hour's after this.
For a dependable, fuel-efficient tractor from a company committed to the future, choose a Branson tractor. Each of our tractors is backed by a 6-year limited warranty with models available ranging in horsepower from 22 to 58. You are sure to find the tractor that is right for you. Make sure you call or stop in today at the new location for Bush Tractor at 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Again, that is 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Or you can check them out online at bushtractor.com.
Arkansas Valley Electric members living in Knoxville and Augsburg and surrounding areas, you can now sign up. Wave Rural Connect Internet is available for you. Fast fiber internet, TV, and even phone service. Internet starting at $49.95 a month, TV at $43.99, and phone for $29.95. Sign up now at signup.waveruralconnect.com or 833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer opens like every other seltzer, pours like every other seltzer, but it's not like every other seltzer. USDA certified organic, no added sugar, and low cal, so you've never seen another seltzer quite like it. And with new refreshing flavors like black cherry and watermelon strawberry, you've never tasted one like it either. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes. Enjoy responsibly, not a low-calorie food. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit rileyfarmdental.com.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Would printing from your phone or tablet make your life easier? Are you emailing files to yourself so that you can print them from your desktop or laptop? The Xerox VersaLink and AltaLink lines of network printers and multifunction printers will natively print using your phone's built-in capabilities. Apple AirPrint and Google Cloud Printing just work. To order yours today, give us a call at 783-6600 or visit dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunny and hot. Our high temperatures this afternoon, upper 90s to right around 100 degrees. Mainly clear, and overnight low will drop down into the upper 70s tonight. Lots of sunshine on Friday. There's a slight chance of seeing a shower or thunderstorm across the north. Highs right around 100 degrees. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today.
Good station.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3. Live from the Bushlight Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
on your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
Fans are amazing. It is lit down here on the sideline.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
And into the second hour of halftime here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Elson, Drew Barrett, Matty T. Pat Smith will join us in about 30 minutes as we'll get his thoughts on college football realignment, how the SEC might be able potentially to get the three programs we've been talking about out of the ACC somehow, Clemson, Florida State, Miami, over to this league. And the World Games in Birmingham, which is definitely a very interesting set of sports to watch.
Interesting's the right word.
Yeah, and I mean, look, football's interesting, right? Baseball's
enjoy
interesting. Basketball is too.
Big fan.
Track and field, pretty interesting to watch. But I love the description on the World Games website about what they're doing here. And they say 3,600 athletes. But this is going on starting today. Opening ceremonies, Birmingham, Alabama, the center of sports in the United States, and the surrounding area too. So there's a couple of the other municipalities, including Hoover, which will also host some of these events. 3,600 athletes from around the world representing more than 100 countries, 30-plus unique, multidisciplinary sports. And just the names of some of these sports are fun and make you wonder, what exactly are you about to watch? Like this sport here called fistball. Like you could let your imagination run wild with that term.
It's a weird one. I mean,
get your minds out of the gutters.
I don't know what really separates it from. It's like volleyball because I watched the video, and instead of a net, it's just like a strip that goes across.
And unlike volleyball, you're not allowed to hit the ball with an open fist.
Yes,
you have. That's what. Otherwise,
it has
it
to
would
hit
be
your
called,
arm or a closed fist, and it can hit the ground though, which is weird.
You know, some
quite like volleyball.
Some of these sports I actually think like I could stand a chance in. Like billiards is a sport.
Billiards is a sport.
Flag football. I used to play that as a kid.
Well, now this is one of the really
intense
interesting aspects.
But there's no tackling.
But there's an interesting aspect to the flag football, to flag football being at the World Games, because this has been sponsored by the NFL to put this on the program at the World Games, because Troy Vincent, former great defensive back for the Eagles, now the NFL Executive VP of Football Operations, says that he believes, and this means the NFL believes it too, that once the Olympics in 2028 in Los Angeles come around, you could actually have American football in the Olympics for the first time ever. However, it would not be regular American football like we know it, i.e. tackling. It would be flag football in the Olympics, which is an odd idea to wrap your mind around. But I can imagine it might be a little difficult to find enough people in some of the other countries to field a real football team with tackle football. Like if you think the Dream Team dominated Olympic basketball for a few years there in the 90s and whatnot, can you imagine what how American football would be literally destroy everything, because nobody else plays it like this.
No.
Canada, I guess, but that's about it.
That's be the closest thing. And the NFL has tried, obviously they do games over in London to promote the sport. And there is the NFL Europe league that I think lasted for 2 or 3 years. So they've tried to make football more global, and you are starting to see some international players trickle into the NFL, but it's so few and far between. When one does, even just on a practice squad, it's huge news. They're focusing on it when it's Hard Knocks, or that team's really promoting the fact hey, we've got a offensive lineman from Mexico, or we've got a defensive back from a country in Europe. I don't know why I couldn't think of a European country off the top of my head, but
there's a couple dozen of them. You could just pick one.
I mean, there's like, and I'd say there's probably close to double-digit international players at this point in the NFL. But to think that any other country has a shot or a chance at taking down America in American-style football, even if it is flag. Now, is this basically 7-on-7 flag football, or is this like you actually a full-on 11 have offensive linemen and somewhat of a blocking type of thing? Flag
5
football.
on the field at any time.
5 on the field?
5 on the field at any time.
Okay, so this is more of a 7-on-7, just backyard, throw the ball deep type of football.
It's a 50-yard field, 25 yards wide. You do have the 10-yard end zone.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, we all know what flag football is like. But, I mean, that would be the way to balance out. Well, like, do you think the American korfball national team would be able to dethrone the Netherlands, where korfball was invented back in the early portion of the 1900s?
1902 to be exact.
Is this a sport that we've ever heard of before? Korfball, spelled with a K? It's like a weird set of basketball almost played with something that looks like a mini soccer ball, and you're essentially trying. To me, it looked like a combination of ultimate frisbee, basketball, and soccer almost rolled into one.
To say, you got to have soccer in there because they have, like, just watching the korfball for beginners video, you have attackers and defenders can't, get into the attack zone and everything like that. And it's an interesting sport. You can't dribble. You can't really run around the ball. That's kind of why you brought in their ultimate frisbee. The one thing that I do like about it, it is the only sport that you have to play mixed genders with. You have to have 4 men and 4 women on, which is pretty cool. I do like that aspect. Here's one question, and I need y'all to explain this to me. In these World Games, there is racquetball and there is squash. What is the difference?
Now, the squash ball isn't as bouncy, and the racket is longer and thinner. That's the best I can tell you.
But it's basically the same thing.
Kind of. I think.
I
played squash twice.
I played racquetball.
I ate squash.
I played racquetball like in
my grandma made me, or I couldn't get dessert. What's great about their website is like each one of these sports that you may or may not have ever heard of is if you click it, you just click get info. So I see there's 2 dance sports. There's breaking and dance sport.
Break dancing.
What is dance sport? So I look it up. It is competitive ballroom dancing.
Well, that's been a thing for years.
I may have a shot at that one.
But the breakdancing thing, that was popular in the 80s. Who breakdances now on a consistent basis?
Well, I mean, is breakdancing close enough to hip-hop to where you're to hip-hop dancing? Or do I actually have to have like a piece of cardboard out there doing the robot and, spinning on my head?
It's just
for it to be breakdancing.
Don't forget, you got to bring your own cardboard, too, to put on.
Right.
I remember this a routine George Carlin did about what's a sport and what's not a sport, and he said swimming's not a sport. Swimming is a way to keep from drowning. That's common sense. Well, then here is a sport in the World Games. Life-saving is a sport at the World Games. You are basically diving in and you are pulling up mannequins.
You're a professional lifeguard.
It's a sport played in indoor swimming pools in the same way that pool lifeguards are trained.
Look at the actual events for life-saving. There's the 200-meter super lifesaver, the 200-meter obstacle swim, the 100-meter mannequin tow with fins, the 100-meter mannequin carry with fins, the obstacle relay. I mean, think of all the sharks that you're going to have to avoid saving somebody's life in the ocean potentially.
I mean, obviously, there's a lot of sharks in there. That's why I don't get in.
I never realized life-saving was a sport. I knew it was something pretty darn important when you're at the pool or at the beach, but maybe they have to win this World Game competition.
Oh, and look at this.
Here's the thing
competitive mouth-to-mouth, what is the word?
Resuscitation.
I almost said reciprocation.
Is that actually on there?
No, I'm making that up. I was being stupid.
One thing I do like about the World Games is that they have most of the ice sports that you see in the actual Olympics, but they're on rollerblades, or just actual 4-wheel skates, from from back in the day. Like they have figure skating and they have roller hockey and the speed rolling and.
I did see that they have wheelchair rugby, which that's actually pretty cool, though.
I might pay to watch that.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting thing to watch. Wheelchair basketball is really entertaining, too, and pretty tough, I think, to actually do.
Gosh, they bang into each other, too. It's quite physical of a game.
All right, who we have here? We've got Eddie on hold. Eddie, are you all fired up about the American korfball team and their ability to maybe knock off the Netherlands?
I'm ready for football. Any way you can get it.
Are you ready for flag football? Because flag football is at the World Games.
Flag football
would that be okay?
characterizes football, puts you in the mood. But the reason I'm calling in, sir, I called in on the morning rush, and how I've been feeling Monday, my temperature started to rise. And so the only way to describe it, not only is the temperature running high across the natural state and across the country, it's starting to run high in the whole fan base. And no doubt about it, I got whole fever. I mean, it's this kind of temperature that'll give you the fever. And why not? Everywhere I go in the River Valley, excitement is running, again, rampant. And why wouldn't it be rampant? Here's the reason we're rampant. We finished 9-4 last year, and the toughest schedule in the entire nation. Let me say this. This team has an experienced quarterback coming back and a playmaker and Mr. K.J. Jefferson. Let me say this. To win in the SEC, what you got to have, well, you better have a quarterback that can make plays. And number 3, we got the fan base, but most importantly, Coach Pittman has turned up the jukebox. And how many days do we get? Well, I'm counting every second. 58 days.
Eddie, I got a question. I got a question for you here as I'm listening. I got your text yesterday. I was really, really nervous when I first saw your text because he was explaining to me the symptoms that he's feeling. And I know you've had, Eddie's had illnesses before that he's talked to us about on this very radio show. I thought he was getting into that. Then he goes into, the doctor told me it's hog fever. And I'm like, all right, there's a big eye roll here because for a moment I was a little bit worried about you, Eddie. But I got to ask you this. You brought this up on the Morning Rush earlier. Is this word for word the same call?
Well, I don't know exactly the same call, but I wanted to send a message to Mr. Yurchek. You better get the temperature gauges at the gate because the fan base is not only coming to crank up the jukebox, we're coming to call the hogs, and we're coming with the fever.
Eddie, it sounds outstanding, man. I feel the fever right now. I can feel it deep in my abdomen, and all of a sudden I feel like I got to take the break because I've got to go take care of the abdomen thing in a moment here. Thanks for listening to our show, as always. Eddie from Clarksville, the absolute best. You think it was the same call, or you think it was a little bit different?
It was pretty identical. The only thing that was different from it this morning was you actually tried to ask him a question.
We do ask that if you call multiple shows on this station, that maybe the calls can be a little bit different on a call by call basis.
And I will 100% know if it's the same because I'm a part of 2 out of 3 of the shows here.
That's exactly right. Halftime is brought to you by our friends at Riley Farm Dental in Fort Smith, right at the entrance of Riley Farms, Highway 71. Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan serving to give patients better lives and comfortable experiences, providing all the procedures, braces, implants, and cosmetics. And they've been voted top 3 best of the best 5 years running. Riley Farm Dental, 226-3500 or RileyFarmDental.com. Visit them at 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, and halftime is right back.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Hello, this is Sue from the paint store in Van Buren. We are set and ready for all your spring and summer projects. We keep real samples of your Richards paint on file so we can be sure it matches every time. No computer can do that. The paint store in Van Buren. Color expertise and 34 years of knowledge outweighs all the competition. No other paint seller can do that. The paint store in Van Buren, Fayetteville Road, 474-4505.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $120 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your plumbing service today. That's AshleyAir.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
Arkansas Valley Electric members living in Knoxville and Augsburg and surrounding areas, you can now sign up. Wave Rural Connect Internet is available for you. Fast fiber internet, TV, and even phone service. Internet starting at $49.95 a month, TV at $43.99, and phone for $29.95. Sign up now at signup.waveruralconnect.com or 833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Norris Material and Supply Flooring Center now offers in-stock vinyl plank flooring starting at 89 cents per square foot. If you're a do-it-yourself kind of person, they have all the materials needed to lay your new flooring, or you can choose their professional installation. Whatever your choice, give them a call today to get a free same-day estimate. Financing available. For the best customer service from flooring to countertops, Norris Material and Supply Flooring Center is your local flooring professional. Check them out online at flooring.norrisms.com or on the corner of Wheeler and South Y, 479-289-7111. Hablamos Espanol.
Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith is open and ready to care for you and your family. Law's Drug Store has COVID vaccinations available for ages 5 and up and the new second booster for ages 50 and up. These vaccines are safe and effective in preventing severe cases of COVID. Call 452-6116 to schedule your booster appointment or stop by Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Why do people do business with First Western? Because First Western builds relationships with all of their customers. They partner for the long haul to help you with your financial goals over all seasons of life. First Western is prompt, responsive, and they deliver with quick answers and on-time loan closings. When is the last time your banker called you? If you are looking for a high level of service and a financial partner who will listen and respond, try First Western. For more information, visit them online at firstwestern.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Stop by your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 in Rogers in Fort Smith, where it's happy hour all day, every day. Stop by anytime and try our $4 cocktails. Choose from a Bloody Mary, Cape Cod, Tequila Sunrise, Whiskey Sour, and more. There's also $5 glasses of wine, and Miller Lite 12-ounce drafts are always just $2. Get to TGI Fridays for lunch Monday through Friday for our $9.99 burger deal, available until 3 p.m. and comes with fries and a soft drink, tea, or Miller Lite draft. Order online for pickup at Fridays.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Olsen, Matty T, and Drew Barrett. Want to jump in the conversation with the guys? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963.
All right, Pat Smith coming up in the next segment to get into some of this college football stuff. 877-377-6963 to get on Halftime. And, oh, by the way, we will talk with him a little bit about the World Games, because if you're in Birmingham, I assume you just kind of got to show up for it.
If you're in Birmingham, I can't imagine you've been bored on a weekend this entire summer with sports. I mean, I know I personally haven't paid a lot of attention. I don't want to speak for you to the USFL, but you've had games every Saturday and Sunday for the last, since, Easter? Because it just wrapped up last week. You've had a sporting event going on in the city of Birmingham. Now, probably almost a full year round. I mean, you go back to last football season. You could go to an UAB basketball game, baseball games there. You got the minor league baseball there in Birmingham. Then you had the USFL, and now you got the World Games. There's been something to do in Birmingham, like every weekend. Good for them. No days off in Birmingham.
Well, then good. Then they're going to have a lot of fun because they got 11 days straight with a lot of sports.
Mm-hmm.
Got Charlie on hold here. Charlie, how you doing, man? Would you want to watch some flag football, and take some pride in the American team demolishing the rest of the world in flag football? Korfball? Anyone?
Well, this cop is sitting here watching me, and he might pull me over because he sees me with my phone. But I'm on it, and I'm talking. So he might pull me over. So hang on just a second. Let me throw my seatbelt on.
That'd be a very good idea.
That should have been on anyways.
Seatbelts and driving
But,
usually work
Maddie,
very well together.
Maddie,
Yes, thank you.
I'm talking on it. I'm not texting. So anyway, Maddie, I do want to ask you real quick
Yes,
if
sir.
I do get pulled over here. What special thing happened, man? Because I want to say congratulations. Please tell me you're not pregnant and you're not leaving.
I'm not pregnant yet, and I'm not leaving. No, I got engaged over the trip there.
Oh, that's awesome! Congratulations.
Thank you,
buddy.
Tony.
I'm happy for you, and Drew, you better take care of him like he's gonna take care of you for your wedding.
Oh, I got him.
Phil, I can tell you right now, and I hate to even toot Drew's horn because last time I did this, it got me in trouble. But he was absolutely unbelievable yesterday. I'm gonna give him a 5-star for his effort yesterday.
For the
I mean,
effort.
he was manning the phone. He was awesome. I mean, he did it. I mean, he needs a raise. Like, and I can't believe I just said that.
Well, you're gonna have to call back in the morning and tell Tommy that because he's the one that.
I'm gonna, and then I'm gonna say give old Ty a pay cut for not helping you out. Like, what's up? That can go to your raise. So anyway, no. About intramural, I used to play that a little bit, flag football. Thank God that cop didn't pull me over.
I did too, and it was fun. I mean, but that's like I never realized that intramurals would end up translating to the international stage the way that they have now. Because even again, like korfball actually looks like it involves a lot of skill, a lot of skill. I've just never seen it before.
That's
but
all
I
you
mean,
think that
pickleball's
basket
gotten
is.
really popular. Why is pickleball not there? It would make sense. Yeah, these baskets are 11 and a half feet
I was about
tall.
to say they look pretty up there.
I won an intramural championship in basketball, but I never did too well in football. I was pretty good in basketball back when I was good at football too, but it came on later, and then I gained some weight, and it wasn't so good after that. But I can still swing it around a little bit. Anyway, I was going to talk about KJ a little bit, and I'm a little bit more worried about Eddie's blood pressure fluctuating every time he calls because it's like he goes up, down, up, down, up, down the whole time he's talking. And I'm a little bit worried about him, more so his health than him calling and screaming in the phone every time because it's just like always up and down, up and down. Anyway, but for KJ, I was watching some tape the other day, and everybody's trying to call him a system quarterback, all the idiots, all the haters. But to prove that he's not a system quarterback, just go watch Alabama tape. More drop back, reading the defense, getting through his progression. So, and Phil, I don't know if you've noticed this with him, but he doesn't even step into a lot of his throws. It's just like a flick, and he can just get it there. That's how talented he is. It's just so almost effortless in a way. So I'm really excited about him this year and what he's going to do. I hope he has a great year. Anyways, guys, I truly appreciate it. Maddie, congratulations. And I'll hang up and listen to you guys.
And I love that.
Hey,
I love one of
appreciate
one of the things I love about KJ, and it's like, look, you don't want your quarterback to take a ton of hits, like all these hits to the left and the right, and have to drag himself up. And I mean, he was playing hurt last year with the knee, and I know that his public, all of his teammates say that when everyone asks who's his idol, who does he want to model his game after, it's Cam Newton. I don't want to see KJ taking all those hits necessarily, and that's why this running game, aside from him, like he's a major part of the run game, right? But you have this group of talented running backs that all do something a little bit different than the other, and like those are the guys that are going to carry the load as far as the run game is concerned. You're going to have some designed runs for him too, and maybe for Malik as well. But if there's a way to like limit the amount of hits, and I know that's like being a little bit maybe pie in the sky for someone who is a running quarterback who is big and is going to try to run tacklers over, but that is one thing that does worry me a little bit, because it just feels sometimes like it's one big hit away from going to the second string.
Yeah, and that's the thing when you have a mobile quarterback, and he's obviously talented. It adds an extra perspective, an extra, thing that defenses have to prepare for week in and week out. when preparing to face your offense, and it's just another option or another tool to use to score a touchdown. But the body in general only has so many hits, and each body's number is different. Some can take a lot more hits than others can. So, but you never want to just purposely add on to that number, especially with the position as important as a quarterback. So I think I would like to see KJ more of a pocket passer this year and use the run as almost a third option. Whereas last year, it felt like in a lot of situations he abandoned the pass a little too early. I'd like to see him hopefully stay in the pocket a little bit better. And now hopefully that all is determined by, how long that pocket is open. I mean, hopefully the offensive line, while they didn't do a terrible job last year, is a little bit better this year and gives him more time, and plays can develop a little bit better in front of him to where he doesn't have to make that split decision of to take off or to wait.
Now that I think of it, one thing that does belong in the World Games would be an eating contest, doesn't it? Wouldn't it? If you're gonna have life-saving, can't you have an eating contest too? I mean, if we're gonna have unique sports, and just the other day we had a fairly unique event, Major League Eating, with the hot dog.
What are they
gonna
eat though?
Hot dogs. I mean, you can be whatever you want.
That would be unfair. Joey Chestnut would win. Joey Chestnut doesn't win every event on the MLE circuit. He dominates the hot dogs, but he doesn't win
There are
every
pizza
event.
eating contests that he doesn't win.
Yes, I think he lost. The jalapeno contest earlier this year.
Now that's a whole different kind of discipline.
Yeah, because that's heat.
Because when you're adding the spiciness to it, then you're talking about something totally different. We've got an eating competition coming up pretty soon, and it's our world-famous 17th annual Thick Burger Eating Contest at Hardee's for the football trip of a lifetime. It's brought to you by ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com, and Hardee's. This year, the trip is back in Kansas City when the Chiefs play the Tennessee Titans Sunday night in Arrowhead, November the 6th. And our first qualifying opportunity is July 14th. That's 1 week from today, and it's at the Phoenix Avenue location, Hardee's in Fort Smith. It's from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. You got to eat a third-pound thick burger in 90 seconds or less to qualify. I can't do it, so I'm not even going to give it a try. The Morning Rush crew is going to be there at Hardee's on Phoenix Avenue Friday, July 15th. That's the 17th annual football trip of a lifetime, brought to you by Hardee's, ESPN Arkansas, and hitthatline.com. And boy, we love watching people stuff thick burgers down their gullet. We also like talking with Pat Smith from Jocks Radio in Birmingham, and that's next on Halftime.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment. From high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders and mini excavators, WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors, or see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need additional construction equipment to continue growing? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website at WTEquip.com.
This is a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup sound experiment. We're looking to find the perfect way to hear Reese's so you'll buy more of them. Here we go. Reese's. 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 Hey, get out of here, you little stinker. Reese's.
Reese's. Reese's.
Peanut Butter Cups. That breathy one sounded very creepy, am I right?
How would you like for your family to swim for free for a year? Well, it's possible this summer with Burton Pools and Spas. It's the Red, White, and Blue Savings Event going on now. Hi, Tommy Kraft here for Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith. Here's the deal. Choose 0% interest and no payments for the next 12 months, or take a rebate up to $2,000 off on Doughboy semi-in-ground pools or Doughboy above-ground pools. It's the Red, White, and Blue Savings Event going on right now, and there's no better way to spend time with your family this summer than in your own backyard with your own pool by Doughboy. Nobody makes a better semi-in-ground pool or above-ground pool than Doughboy. And you can always trust the team from Burton Pools and Spas for a quality installation. Hey, this is a limited time offer at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith. Swim for free for a year. Find out more online at burtonpools.com. 0% offer good with approved credit at Burton Pools and Spas, Springdale, and in Fort Smith, where you can get your feet wet without getting in over your head.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing, and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. Each day we see familiar faces who have supported us from the beginning because they see the benefits of an active lifestyle. We're also always meeting new customers who are taking their first steps towards making running or walking a part of daily life. We have the opportunity to share in their successes and help them achieve their goals. The people of Fort Smith and the River Valley are why we believe we were voted one of the best running stores in America. Visit us and see how we can help you. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Carco Auto Sales takes great pride in serving Fort Smith, the River Valley, and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years, offering a variety of quality, late model, low mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. The friendly and knowledgeable staff can help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Carco Auto Sales will purchase your vehicle as well. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard or give them a call at 783-1722. Check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales, when you're ready.
In a world where dinosaurs roam freely, Hardee's is introducing one of its meatiest menus yet. Now presenting your Jurassic-sized bite. Slow-cooked sliced prime rib and tangy amber barbecue sauce on a thick burger you can really sink your teeth into. If a raptor doesn't sink its teeth into it first. Bite into the new Jurassic-inspired Primal Angus Thick Burger from Hardee's. Feed your happy. See Jurassic World Dominion, now in theaters. Available for a limited time at participating Hardee's restaurants. Price of participation may vary. Rated PG-13. Some material may be inappropriate for children under 13.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey! Alabama high test got me in a big mess. Higher than a wildcat. They're running from the wolf pack. They're gonna put me in the slammer if they catch me with that Alabama high test.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Follow the guys on Twitter at PhilElsonPXP, at Matt Travis, and at DBarrett36. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
Pat Smith is joining us from Jocks Radio in Birmingham, the epicenter of sports right now across the world. Not just because of what's happening with college football realignment and that the SEC is just poised to potentially draw in some of the better football playing schools out of the ACC. We got the World Games going on right now, and Pat, that's what we're going to talk about first. How you doing today?
Hey,
and
guys.
Are you excited about Birmingham being the epicenter of international sports for the next 11 days?
Well, you know, I was until I was trying to get to work and driving downtown, and Homeland Security's got half the city, shut down. So, I was excited until that kind of messed up my day. But no, besides that, I think Birmingham, if we can get below 100 degrees, I think folks across Europe and everywhere else that's visiting maybe will enjoy the next 11 days.
Maybe so. I mean, you just got past the excitement of the USFL, and it takes you right into the World Games. What is it about Birmingham that kind of attracts, this sort of thing? Because the USFL thing was unique in the way that it was constructed, that it was an entire league that had teams that represented cities, and they never were in those cities because every game was in Birmingham. Maybe there were, I think, one in Canton. But, I mean, what is it about Birmingham? It seems like it is such an interesting and unique sports city, especially due to its size, too.
Well, it's one of these things that we've had something here in town called the Alabama Sports Foundation. And what they do is they actually go out, probably the same thing you guys have in the state of Arkansas. they will go out and they'll try to procure, whether it's golf tournaments or whether it's big-time events. Matter of fact, we're going to be hosting the first couple rounds of the NCAA basketball tournament in Birmingham this next spring. So they're always on the lookout for types of sporting events that can help draw people into the downtown area of Birmingham. So it was a situation with Protective Stadium, was built last year for UAB, seats about 45,000. And when the USFL was looking for a place where they could basically house everybody for a 3 to 4 month league, the stadium was open. They loved it from a television production standpoint. And with all the hotels and everything going on right next to the stadium, it was a perfect fit. And so that's why the USFL decided to call Birmingham home. But I just have to take my hats off to the people here that go outside the box and they try to get things in town that maybe other places would kind of balk at. But we've got it, and it's done really well.
Man, it's interesting the way that you put that there, because like when you go to the College World Series, you notice that citizens of Omaha just go to the game sometimes because they might not have any rooting interest. It's part of what you do as an Omahan and a sports fan. You go to the College World Series games and you support, one of the things that makes that a unique sports city. My experience in Birmingham is I go to some games downtown at Regions Field, which I love. I think the Barons have a really spectacular ballpark, and then go into the SEC baseball tournament too. The SEC baseball tournament feels like it's more fan bases that are showing up than like folks from Hoover or Birmingham that are going. How was the support level for the USFL? I didn't watch it down on television, and we know that this league was made for TV by TV, companies, by networks. But what was the local attendance like? Did Birmingham show up for this and use it as a point of pride?
Birmingham did for the Birmingham Stallions. Sometimes they would play games at 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and most people are in church. And needless to say, it's been extremely hot in Birmingham over the last month and a half. And so that probably cut down on some of the attendance figures for non-Birmingham games. So for those type games, they did not have much of a crowd at all. But for Birmingham Stallions games, it was through the roof. And that was another reason why the USFL, when, they put out their schedule every, kind of like we do in the SEC with the 6-day window to see, what time your kickoff's going to be, they kept deciding, we need to put the Birmingham Stallions in prime time on Saturday night because that's going to be the game that's going to be on Fox. It's going to be on NBC. And we know that people in Birmingham are going to show up for the Stallions, and that's what people did. Now, for the other games, not so much. But I was told very early on by television executives at Fox that they're not worried about how many people show up, that this was made for television. This is a television event, and anybody that would show up to this football game, they would kind of be viewed as extras in a TV show. And so they just really wanted to get, the ball kicked off and get it going, and talked to a USFL rep, matter of fact, yesterday on our show on WJOX, and they're fired up because they're going to have a year two, and probably they're going to split between Detroit and Birmingham. So they're going to split the 8 teams up. 4 will play out of Detroit. 4 will be back here in Birmingham next spring. So that's the plan for year two.
And with the USFL, I know, like you and Phil just talked about, it's made for TV, and if everybody that shows up, cool. If not, who cares? But the optics of it, I mean, you turn it on, and you almost, a few times I turned it on, it was almost distracting to see a football game played in an empty stadium. I mean, it almost distracts you from any good things that are going on the field. Is that just me personally, or do you feel like a lot of people had that opinion? And also, how much buzz did y'all get through y'all's text line, phone calls? I mean, were people in Birmingham wanting y'all to talk about this?
It was needless to say, we're talking SEC football every single day, but it was football, and the Stallions got a great deal of conversation. A lot of the former SEC players that was playing in the league, whether it was Shea Patterson, who was the quarterback for Michigan, and then he got traded later on in the season to somebody else, or it was James Franklin III, who was a quarterback at Auburn, had some time in the NFL. He was playing for the Tampa Bay Bandits in the USFL. Of course, Birmingham had numerous players that had Alabama backgrounds and things like that. So people wanted those stories and talk to those people. But back to the empty stadium question, I think a lot of people got used to seeing an empty stadium during the pandemic. So from a television standpoint, I don't think that shocked as many people maybe as it did you. But now moving forward, I definitely think that they're going to, obviously try to press having more people try to show up to games. I mean, it was very affordable. It was $10 tickets. Anybody 15 and under got in free. I mean, their whole point was to try to get you inside the building. There were times that they would have double headers, and those games, with Birmingham being the second game of a double header on a Saturday afternoon and then a Saturday night kickoff, those games were well attended. But I can understand where that could be a distraction for those watching. I also had the Vegas element. You could bet on the football games. It's not legal here in the state of Alabama, but obviously Vegas had point spreads, and if you have offshore accounts or know people in other places that can lay wagers for you, then, people seem to really enjoy it. And I think there is a market for spring football. It's going to be interesting to see when the XFL kicks off right after the Super Bowl this next year in February, to see how that kind of bleeds over, with the USFL schedule that comes up. But it will be interesting moving forward for year two to see what kind of attendance that you will have, especially now going to two different markets.
And last thing on the USFL before we do get to the SEC and college football and all the craziness that's going on. Now that the USFL has completed season one, you said they're going to expand into Detroit next year. Everything financially still on the up and up. No bad checks being written. No rumors going around about players not getting paid. Because I had the unfortunate experience of working with the Alliance of American Football, and they still owe me some money. So we're all above board here.
No question about it. I mean, and here's the best part of this. The Murdoch family owns the USFL. Fox owns this property. So every bill in Birmingham was paid. Every hotel room was paid. Every catered event was paid. The stadium rent, which was very, very cheap, that was paid. People in Birmingham, it was nothing but glowing accolades for the USFL, the management team, and everybody that stayed in all the area downtown hotels. And matter of fact, a bunch of them had condos that they ended up renting out for 4 or 5 months. But no, there was no issue with that because, listen, we had the same problem here with the Birmingham Iron, of course, was part of the Alliance of American Football. There was all sorts of horror stories of guys being on the road, and they had to get family members to Venmo them money so they could get on a plane and go back home because the Alliance didn't have any money and they weren't going to put them on a plane or pay for it. So, I mean, there was horror stories with that. But, no, there was no money was an issue whatsoever with this league this year.
Well, we got issues with leagues in college sports now. That's for certain.
Yes.
And the sticking point right now is this grant of rights for the ACC 2036. If that wasn't there in the contract, I think you'd have 3 new teams in the SEC already. So that's the sticking point. It's really, what is it going to take? What is it going to take, for this contract year of 2036 to go away? Because, I mean, ESPN is getting a bargain basement deal here, and the ACC schools are going to be making, at some point, it's going to be $70 million less, and the dollar figures don't jibe. I can see the ACC breaking up because of it, but you got to get around the contract.
Yeah. Well, okay, I got 2 angles on this. All right, here's the first one. I think this would be the cleanest way for any ACC school to get out and come to the SEC. Notre Dame agrees to go to the Big Ten. When that happens, I go to court immediately because none of these grant of rights has been in court yet, and nobody's challenged it. I would be in court tomorrow if I was in Clemson, South Carolina, or Tallahassee, Florida, or Miami, Florida, or Chapel Hill. I'd be in court tomorrow, and I would say, okay, we are challenging this because when we signed this grant of rights, Notre Dame was a part of this league. They would play 4 football games every single year. Not to mention the fact they played a whole season during the pandemic, played for the ACC championship. The contract that we signed is now absolutely null and void because the value of it is in the tank. Notre Dame is not even a portion of this league anymore, so we're going to question the validity of this contract. And by doing so, that should allow them, if they find a courtroom somewhere that would be on their side, then it would void it, and then at that point in time, they could walk across the street and go to the SEC, or if North Carolina wants to go to the Big Ten, whatever the case may be, I think that frees those schools up. The second angle is simply telling them, I don't care. We're going to the SEC. We're going to the Big Ten, wherever you're going, and say, good luck trying to get this money out of us. Think about this with Clemson. This is the most staggering thing about all of this when you talk about the money. By the end of this decade, the University of South Carolina, because of their grant of rights with the SEC, they're going to make double what Clemson is scheduled to make at the end of this decade, and their deal in the ACC. Wow. It's 2-1. So if you're Clemson, go ahead and take it on the chin. Okay, if you say that we owe you $70 million because we won out, okay, so be it. Then you come to the SEC. The monies that you're going to take it on the chin the first couple of years, but then you say, you know what? In the long run, 10 years from now, at the end of the decade or the beginning of the 2030s, we are going to be smelling like a rose. We're in a much better conference. The competitiveness, the rivalries that we're developing here with Georgia, and obviously they already played South Carolina. So it would be a no-brainer to me. If that is an offer that is made, go ahead, take it on the chin and be gone. But I think the easiest path, guys, would be for just Notre Dame just to say, okay, we're going to go to the Big Ten, and then you say, okay, now hold on a second. This grant of rights that we signed, this is nothing like we agreed to. And then you might get a courtroom somewhere that would be very friendly to that and say, you know what, you're right, it's void. And at that point in time, the ACC would cease to exist.
Wow. And so, I mean, is Notre Dame beholden to the same year with 2036 or no, because they're not a football member?
No.
Okay.
No, they're not. Oh, matter of fact, their TV deal with NBC ends in 2025, and they only get $15 million a year off their television. We had someone from Irish Illustrated on our program yesterday, and he was very upfront. And he just said, look, they're going to either be in the Big Ten or the SEC. And, of course, that shocks a lot of people when you say Notre Dame in the SEC. But I'm telling you, and, of course, being based in Birmingham and me having certain contacts around the league, not just here in Birmingham, but Notre Dame is seriously in play, guys, for the SEC. I'm not saying right now on your radio show that Notre Dame is going to be in the SEC. I'm just telling you that it is not as far-fetched as you think it is. Swarbrick, the athletics director, and Commissioner Sankey have a very close relationship. I've been told that Swarbrick and Kevin Warren do not have that same type of relationship. Granted, at the end of the day, it's going to be about the money, and if Notre Dame can swallow the fact that they're not going to be an independent anymore. But just think about this aspect. If they were to come south and to be a part of the SEC, they're going to be the northernmost school. And when you talk about recruiting, and then when you talk about almost every road game that you have, unless you go to Columbia late in the season or a Lexington, Kentucky, you're going to be playing in a wonderful atmosphere, wonderful weather. It just makes a lot of sense for Notre Dame. And we were told yesterday by the gentleman from Irish Illustrated that, honestly, Irish fans do not like Big Ten schools or fans. It would be a better fit for them to be in that conference. But, again, there's not a lot of, I guess, serious mojo between the two. It makes more perfect sense from a financial end, but from a fan standpoint and a football standpoint, I think that's why they love their independence, and that's why I think the SEC, if the SEC ever got to the point to where they would make that official offer, or the presidents and Commissioner Sankey say, you know what, that's what we need to do, I think Notre Dame takes a long, hard look at the Southeastern Conference, and I think it's 50-50. And if you would have said that to somebody a month ago, they probably would have told you you're crazy. It's more 90-10 that they wouldn't do it. But, yeah, I think it's something to keep your eye on.
That's an interesting thing to end on, and we're right up against it, Pat. So we'll leave it there. Thank you for talking with us and for your opinions on Notre Dame potentially in the SEC. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Talk soon.
You guys.
Have a good one, Pat.
It's, Pat Smith from WJOX FM in Birmingham, and there's a lot to chew on with that for certain. Also, there's a lot to chew on at CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers, the best burgers anywhere in the state of Arkansas, Fayetteville location, Russellville location. And, hey, I like to get bacon on mine, maybe the sauteed mushrooms. Always go with the fry sauce. That's something that I learned from Ty Richardson. Might be the only thing he taught me. And when all you do are burgers, they have to be the best, and CJ's has the best. Wrapping up halftime next.
Right now, Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center at Randall Ford is having a huge tire sale. Michelin, Goodyear, Bridgestone, all the major brands with the lowest price guarantee. Brakes, wheel alignment, oil change and maintenance, air conditioning, batteries, alternator, and so much more. At Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center at Randall Ford, we service all makes and models and you never need an appointment. Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center at Randall Ford, where we meet or beat any advertised price. 5500 Rogers Avenue or online 24/7 at randallford.com.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work, real work, working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
NWA Gold and Silver has moved to a new location in Fort Smith at 4600 Rogers Avenue across from Med Express. NWA Gold and Silver is always buying gold and silver, scrap, bullion, and coins. Plus, NWA Gold and Silver buys and sells jewelry of all kinds. Diamond rings, wedding bands, engagement rings, earrings, and more. Bring in your gold or silver today to the people that pay the most and have the best deals. NWA Gold and Silver in their new location at 4600 Rogers Avenue across from Med Express in Fort Smith.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit patriottransport.com to apply. That's patriottransport.com.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
Ask Shelter agents Brandon Zimmerman or Chris Dooley about a free insurance review.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Would printing from your phone or tablet make your life easier? Are you emailing files to yourself so that you can print them from your desktop or laptop? The Xerox VersaLink and AltaLink lines of network printers and multifunction printers will natively print using your phone's built-in capabilities. Apple AirPrint and Google Cloud Printing just work. To order yours today, give us a call at 783-6600 or visit dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
The Summer Sell Down Sales Event is going on right now at Breen RV in Van Buren. New 2023 models are starting to arrive from Forest River, Keystone, Coachman, and StarCraft, all backed by Breen RV's Free Maintenance for Life program. Cure your summertime blues in a 29-foot StarCraft that sleeps up to 10 people for just $229 a month with zero down. With savings up to $20,000 off MSRP on new travel trailers, now is the best time to get your new RV from Breen RV. That's Breen RV in Van Buren, where adventures begin.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Daddy worked like a mule mining Pike County coal. His back couldn't work anymore. He said, one of these days you'll get out of these hills. Keep your nose on the grindstone and out of the pills. See the way
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
Well, we bring rough news from Hollywood that legendary actor James Caan passed away last night at the age of 82. This came from his personal Twitter account. Wow. I mean, you just go through the list. Of course, you start with The Godfather, Brian Song, Misery.
Come on, Elf. It's got to be
Too Far. Elf, he was darn good at Elf.
Elf.
The Program, he was the coach in The Program. I mean, he did plenty of sports movies too. But I mean, he's Santino. He's always going to be Santino, first and foremost, and before anything else. Look what they did to my boy. Now that wasn't his line, but that was what was said about him. Rest in peace, one of the all-time legendary actors. Brian's Song is a movie that's worth your time if you ever get a chance to watch that.
Have a box of Kleenexes next to you.
Absolutely.
It's a tearjerker, especially. Oh gosh, I mean, just the story itself is very sad, but the way that they portray it, and I haven't seen it probably in goodness gracious 15 years. I think we watched it in high school one time. It was probably in a class where a coach taught the class, and it wasn't really a class. Oh man. Everybody was boo-hooing. It's a tearjerker, for sure.
Yeah, Billy D. Williams playing Gale Sayers, and James Caan playing Brian Piccolo, who terminal cancer, man. I mean, it's a really sad movie, but it is one of the great sports movies ever made. Rest in peace, James Caan. Passed away at age 82 yesterday. All right, we're at the end of halftime here on a Thursday. I am gone for the next 4 days of shows. Headed to Michigan with the kiddos because they tell me Michigan is not 100 degrees in the summertime. So we're going to go up there and have ourselves a good old time. Guys, I hope you have a great time without me, and it was good being back. Good to have the gang all together again for one whole show. And then
we'll do it next
week. 3 week stretch. Maybe we'll be back together again next Thursday. For Maddie and Drew, I'm Phil. Get up, get out.